Hi there, I'm Rod, and if you've got a package that's fun to ride but too big to fit in your wife's trunk, well, today's video's got the solution.
I do want to bring it, but it just doesn't fit.
From the YouTube channel no one watches, we've got a solution.
Really?
You betcha.
Wow! Let's get to it.
Are you tired of bicycle problems? We're gonna fix that bicycle problem in no time! This is the Rods Over Bricks special music montage, cause we just got monetized and need 8 minutes. Amazon parts, Harbor Freight cutting tools, and an old piece of crap welder. Susie's bicycle gets to the picnic. It doesn't fit in the trunk, so we'll make it a folding bike!
Warning, this bicycle is being built by a car builder and has no means to say Rods Over Bricks Incorporated is not liable for any personal or property damage due to accompanying the acts that you'll see in the video. Always wear your proper safety stuff. Just watch me fuck it up instead. The new project bike called Jenny.
Jenny, love me, Jenny.
So I'm over here at Home Depot, just taking a look at what they had. Okay, now that we're here, we gotta find ourselves a good hinge. I was hoping to find some bigger, like, strap-style hinges that are weld-on for, like, the back of a trailer or something like that. They don't have that here, but I did find some pretty tall and pretty big door hinges. Alright, so now that we've got our door hinge here, I think it'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of place it where I think it's generically vertical and draw a little line with a Sharpie. Doesn't have to be all that accurate. We're just going to go ahead and just chop this thing along that line, making it as straight as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, we're just going to chop this thing up. Whatever gaps are there, we're by golly going to fill it up with some weld. Oh, geez, not the camera, not the tripod. Okay. Alright, now that we have two halves of what was a perfectly fine bicycle to begin with, we can start with cutting out some metal. What I've got here is just some 1/8" plate, and I'm just drawing out where the tubes generically are, and then I'm going to turn these two, what'll be round shapes on the steel plate. I'm going to go ahead and just draw a straight line that connects the pair of them, so I kind of have like a teardrop shape. Just like that. We're going to go ahead and time-lapse this thing, but I'm just cutting it out, and we got a fire! Yeah, nothing some slippers can't handle. Anyways, we got one cut out. I'm going to go ahead and just trace it out. And if we're within, shoot, a 3/16 of an inch, that's plenty good for this project. We're not going for perfection here. But now that we've got two pieces, that should just about match and cap off the ends of the bicycle.
Oh, Jesus, that's hot.
Woo. Man, I wish they made some kind of, like, thing that I could put on, almost like socks or pants or shirt, but for my hands. Oh, well. Thanks, Obama. And we're going to go ahead and take our flapper disco and just clean up all the paint and whatever kind of like little metal shavings are on the edges, just to clean up so we have nice fresh metal and, you know, relatively smooth cut edges. Now with our edges cleaned up, we can go ahead and get to the fun part, where we're going to start stacking this stuff all together. You may have to take the flapper disco and just trim out the tube a little bit. That way these metal pieces fit a little bit more flush. Once they fit pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and just tack weld it into place for now. 3 or 4 big tacks will be plenty. And yep, there's a gap there, probably 1/8 of an inch, but heck, that's what 035 wire is for. And I do have to do a little adjustment after the first tack. It did move a little bit on me. So now that I'm happy with its placement, now I can finalize, do a few more tacks. And we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing to the other side of the bike. And then, look at that, we're back in one piece. Kind of. We got a vice grip here, just holding the two halves together. Well, now that we know she's nice and flush and everything looks pretty straight, I'm going to go ahead and weld this hinge on. Probably be a lot better if, you know, these plates that capped off the end of the tubes were like 1/4 inch and drilled and tapped, but welding these hinges was ultimately a better choice. These hinges were the thickest ones I could find, but they were still thinner than I'd like, so welding it really helps reinforce them. Now, this would have been so much easier with 2 people, but that was not an option for me. Trying to hold these 2 halves, you know, nice and parallel was kind of difficult, but I did wind up just doing a big tack weld and kind of bending it into submission before doing a few more tack welds to make sure that's where it stays. And with that, we've got a pretty good folding apparatus, so I'm going to go ahead and just time-lapse this. This is just doing the final welding, kind of mainly around the hinge area. Now just making sure I'm getting every corner. Now with that all welded up, I can kind of give it a more rough final test, and yep, it works out pretty good. So now I'm going to clean up some area where the latch mechanism is going to go. What I wound up using for the latch is an over-center type catch thingy. I'm not quite sure what these are used for, but they were on Amazon for like $6 a piece, and I thought that was pretty good. It's also rated for 400 pounds, which I think will far exceed what we'll need this thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put this exactly opposite of where the hinge pivots. Now, I know a door hinge doesn't really sound like the best option for this kind of bike, but with the 2 flat surfaces mated together and then being squeezed really, really tight with this catch piece, what you're actually doing is just like multiplying how strong it is, because now you have 2 flat planes clamped together. So it should be much, much stronger. You're not really relying on the hinge at this point. You're relying on this catch squeezing together the 2 flat pieces. The hinge is really just there for some stability and to hold it all together when you fold it. You know, kind of picture it like you folded a piece of paper in half. Well, it'll unfold and twist real easy, but if you tape where the 2 halves meet on the other end, it makes it quite a bit stronger. You have an envelope. Well, here's a folding bicycle. You know, tomato, tomato. And before I weld the last piece of the catch mechanism on, I do have the adjustment strap kind of in the middle, and then I vice gripped it to squeeze it really hard, and then I can put this other catch piece on, and it's getting welded into place. Alright, and now that we got that locking mechanism all taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and just do the final welds all around the hinge and whatnot, and get it all ground smooth. Probably put a little bit of primer on it, and that'll be pretty much the whole first part of this series. Let's get to it.
He's always in slippers, it's a comfy look. Now he's monetized, finally off the hook.
Alright, so I know what you guys are thinking. Really? A door hinge? Will it hold? Well, I think it will just fine. Now, the door hinge itself was pretty thin. It was thinner than 1/8. But what I wound up doing was the barrels that the hinge like is bent around so that the pin goes through. I did wind up putting a bead on each side of that, really bolstering it. But now, my 180 pounds is going to get on that bicycle, and I'm going to ride it out of here. Now, it does have no front inner tube, but I think it's going to handle the weight just fine, and we're going to find out. Okay, don't make me look like an idiot. Kickstand up. It's just fine. That's about it for part 1. We've got a bike that's rideable, and now it folds up. Now we just got to do something about the handlebars and the seat. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.